to ask everyone if they can, just for the sake of time, maybe start migrating their way up here toward the seats. And I think as denoted by the signage, we're going to have our host here, Coach Frederick, and his players over here on my left, and Coach Riggs, you and your gentleman, if you will, over here on my right. I'm not going to play referee between any of you, though, because I'm not large enough to do so. Can everyone hear me okay? Good, thank you. Well, if everyone's settled, again, thank you again. My name is Scott Stidham. I serve as Tulsa Market President for MidFirst Bank. I'm very excited to be here this morning. This is undoubtedly a very exciting annual event and community-wide event that MidFirst has participated in now for what is the 16th consecutive year, and is the MidFirst Bank Backyard Bowl. Before I get too much into introductions on either side, I do want to give a few thank yous. This is a huge event, and with that, we need a lot of partnerships to execute it. First and foremost, I want to thank Lindsay Cummins, who works with MidFirst Bank, who works so very hard on this event every year and the many other community events she does. So Lindsay, thank you for what you do. You do a great job, and you always have. I want to thank Union Public Schools. A little different feel this year. As most people know, we're usually at the University of Tulsa. They were booked. So to our friends at Union, thank you so much for the allowances that you have for this. It's very meaningful. Next, and like any big event, we can't execute this without the coverage and well-deserved coverage that both these schools get from our local media partners. Cox Communications, Your View, of course the Tulsa World, and each of our broadcast media outlets, KTUL, KOTV, KJRH, and KOKI, all domiciled here in Tulsa. So thank you all for coming today and for your coverage. At MidFirst Bank, we're well aware of the historical excellence of each of these schools and their student athletes and their arts and their academics. And that's largely why we want such a strong partnership and have been proud to have a 16-year partnership with each of these school districts, is because they're so well-rounded. We believe that to be very meaningful to young people today. And this year, we will be providing a sponsorship in the amount of $14,000 to each school. And we provide those proceeds, and the schools are able to utilize the proceeds as they want to use them. I think that's very important to emphasize. While this is a football game and it's the feature and it brings the community together to network and to have camaraderie and competition, the schools get to use these proceeds where they best see fit. In the 15 prior years we have performed this event, we've contributed more than $350,000 to these school districts and are very proud to have done so. For those unaware of MidFirst Bank or maybe want a refresher, we're Oklahoma owned and operated, and there's two things which we're very proud of presently at MidFirst Bank. As of 6/30 of this year, we surpassed the $20 billion asset threshold. That continually keeps us and puts us as one of the largest family-owned banks in the nation, and we're very proud to do it. We have a banking presence in at least 46 of the 50 states in the United States. The second thing which we've accomplished, which is now for the second year in a row, is we were awarded the highest retail banking satisfaction customer service award by J.D. Power and Associates, an independent rating agency well known for their ratings of everything customer service related in the business world today. So thank you again for your opportunity to come stand here and listen to a little about MidFirst Bank. As everyone well knows, and all our local media partners always remind us of annually, it seems as though year in, year out, someone from this game plays a very meaningful impact in the ultimate OSSAA State Football Championship. And in fact, 15 of the last 16 years, one of these two teams has won that football championship. At this time, I would like to ask each coach to say a few words, maybe a little historically about this game and maybe a little about current mindsets. What we'll do is I guess we'll go with our guest visitors first, and Coach Keith Riggs, I'll surrender the podium to you, and subsequent to that, while I'm still stepped away, Coach Frederick, I'll then surrender to you, and after that we may come together for a few pictures over by the helmets and the trophy. So Coach Riggs, the podium is yours.
First, I'd like to thank Scott and all of the Mid-First team for their sponsorship over the years. It has been a great partnership looking back and looking forward in their sponsorship of this game and their commitment to our academic programs each year. As you just heard, the dollar amount of contributions over the years has been wonderful. So we can't thank them enough for their involvement in this game. Thank you. This game, it has a lot of special meaning, I think, to our coaches, our players, our communities on both sides of the ball. To be able to play a high-quality opponent year in and year out early in the year, it really lets you know where you're at as a team. And there's been so many exciting finishes in Jenks Union games over the years. Our kids really look forward to it. I know our school and community does. But more than anything, I mean, it's just a great opportunity to go compete at a high level, and that's all you can really ask for as a coach and as a player. And we get that every year in playing a very well-coached Union team. As I mentioned, this is a great measuring stick. It lets you know where you stand as a team as you move into district play. We're going to find out where our strengths are, where our weaknesses are, and we'll go back to the drawing board and try to fix those weaknesses after this game. But it's just an honor to be a part of this game, the Backyard Bowl, as an assistant coach, as a coordinator, and now as a head coach. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity, so thank you very much. Last year was kind of a blur, my first one. Questions now, or do I get out of the way?
I think you can probably surrender it to Coach.
All right.
I do believe they probably want to visit with you.
Did you introduce your players?
Oh, I should introduce them. Yeah, the guys I brought. Thank you. As I mentioned, this time last year, things were still real blurry for me. I brought three guys with me. First, on the far end there, Bo Estes, who has been a 2-year starter for us at receiver, but also played significant snaps as a sophomore as we move through the year. James Pruitt in the middle started at inside linebacker for us last year and is playing on both sides of the ball this year, serving as a fullback as well on offense. And then Will Cox, who is a 3-year starter for us on both sides of the football, plays in the secondary at safety right now and also at running back. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks again. I appreciate your attendance today, and it's a pretty special ball game, and has been for many years. This is my 13th year as a head coach here, and so as Coach said, these they still blur. Okay, so that you know, there's plenty of them that blend together, and a long time. I don't know if it's the pressure of the job or because being an old lineman and hitting too many heads or too much Diet Coke consumption over the years, but they definitely blur without a doubt. But I've got three of our captains with us. Jake Rogers plays inside linebacker for us and does an outstanding job. Great young man. Gabe Cantu is our offensive center. Gabe is a 2-year starter for us as well as Jake Rogers, and then Josh Peoples plays defensive end for us. So outstanding ambassadors for our program. Couldn't ask for 3 better young men on and off the field to represent our team. And it's interesting that this is a neat year for me because each year you know the competition and you know the teams well. But again, I've been doing this for quite some time. My own son is a senior this year, and so I've had an eye on both of these teams. I know these kids over here, we've played against each other, and this group of kids, I've probably stood on the sideline for every Jenks Union game from probably third grade up. You know, I've seen Bo and Will and those guys playing all the way up against many of the guys that they've played against. So some thoughts of even youth football come to mind as we stand here coming into this year. I also want to thank MidFirst Bank. Very strong organization, as Scott mentioned, that an outstanding bank, an outstanding program, and two great programs. I can't think of a better representation than to have MidFirst Bank sponsor this and be a part of this. I'd also like to thank our administration. This is not an easy thing to put on and to host. There's so many different things that take place behind the scenes, and I want to thank our administration and everyone involved for allowing us to host here at Union. Outstanding place to play football, and you know, the stadium's going down in December, and so this will be a pretty sweet deal to be able to host this game for the last year. And then this will be the last one, Coach, and then we'll rebuild it, and maybe we can have another one in the new stadium. You know, this is an outstanding football game, an outstanding opponent in Jenks. We know that each year we get tested in this, and you know, sometimes you come into games and you think, well, you know, we work harder, or we put in more hours. Well, the thing that makes this so special is, you know, Jenks runs just as much as we do. Their coaches burn the midnight oil just as much as we do. There's such great respect between two programs that have literally just taken it to different levels. It seems like each year you get to a point where you think you've taken another step in your program, and then the next year maybe they're matching that or they're raising that level, and it's pretty amazing when you look back over those many years how far these programs have come just because we've been pushing each other. And so we have a lot of respect for them. We look forward to a great test. As you stated earlier, a lot of times this sets us up for a great playoff or championship matchup, and so we get to put our kids and coaches under extreme pressure and see how they're going to react and have a chance to maybe correct some of those mistakes. Again, I'll entertain any questions that you may have, and look forward to a great game. Okay, thank you.
Coach Frederick, Coach Riggs, thank you again for taking the time to step up here. As indicated earlier, of course, we have backdrops set up, and we will have the respective coaches available for conversations and comments subsequent to this. And additionally, based on the availability of whether or not you want your players, certainly that's at your individual discretion. So in closing, of course, the game is Friday at 7:05 p.m. Central Standard Time. We always expect the unexpected in this game. It always seems to work out that way. It's always exciting. One other piece of information I will offer our media members is we will have a VIP room set up. We would be happy if you would care to join us before, during, or after. We're always welcome to network with us, and we will look forward to seeing everyone Friday night. We'll ask the coaches maybe join me over with the trophy, and but this part of today will be concluded. Thank you.
Stand here and answer any questions you may have for head coaches. Is that all right? Since everybody's centered right here? You all want to do it
had the same philosophy as we have had is, you're going to play great opponents here early in the season, so you know exactly where you stand as a team and the things you need to correct, because ultimately you have to play your best football in November, and that's what we're working towards. And so you want to know those areas that are in need of improvement as early as possible so you can move forward and make those corrections.
You kind of went from a high in your first game in week 0, 38-0, and then last week 57-7. Just how do you keep your team's confidence up and, with that roller coaster?
Well, as a young, inexperienced team, I think it was a great learning experience. That you got to have the same focus and intensity, and each and every week as you go. When you have an inexperienced team, they've got to learn how to handle adversity. We faced a lot of that last week, so we're going to learn from that moving forward. And then also just 2 weeks ago, how you deal with success. So, like with any loss, there's no good losses, I don't think. So with each of them, you're just going to go back to the drawing board and work on fixing things and getting better as a team.
Yeah, I think obviously being 0-2, we've played 2 really close games, and we need to figure out how to win a close game. And but the thing that this sport requires in adversity, there's 2 questions that are always asked in adversity. Is one, how much do you love the game? And I think that's a question that a program, an individual senior, a coach has to ask is, how much do you really love this when you're going through adversity? And 2 is, how much do you love your team? I think that it's easy to find and point out mistakes and do those things when you're caught up in adversity and tough situations. But I think what I've seen in the eyes of our kids is they love this game, they love playing it, and they love their team. And kids in the locker room have bounced back very quickly. We look forward to a great challenge.
Did you see improvement from your defense last week compared to week 1 or your opener?
I think scoreboards and stats show improvement. I think effort level, it's tough. You looked at 2 different attacks, 2 different things. But, yeah, I saw a lot of improvement in our effort level and the angles that we took. We're not there yet. There's still, but I think it's a mistake also to look at stats and scoreboards in these early games. There's always going to be overreactions at the beginning of the year. I mean, there's overreactions right now about who should win the Heisman Trophy after 2 seasons, or after 2 games. So there's overreactions coming out of this game, and so I think you've got to temper that. What happened last week with Bixby and Jinx. I mean, that's not representative of that program. I'm clear about that. We also feel that way about our own team. By no means am I giving discredit to Broken Arrow or Lake Ridge. They earned those victories. But I think our team is different than that.
How do you keep your team's confidence high enough, after those 2 losses? How do you not let them get down on themselves?
Our recipe since I've been the head coach is trying to get ready for week 11. Needed some time to win games. We're going to go out there to try to win this week. But there's priorities in trying to get ready for week 11. I mean, that's the most important thing. Is see if you make improvement week in and week out. Like Coach Riggs said, is play your best football in November.
For both of you, just expectations for the outcome of this game.
Expectations? Well, I think we probably both would say we're both going to win the game. I don't think the rules will let us both win. But you want to come out healthy. You want to see your kids respond. I think I don't want to speak for you, but I think you want to see how our kids respond to adverse situations. I think we'll see that today, this afternoon. We want to see growth within our team, and see where we can go from there.
Yeah, kind of echo the same thing. We both want to win the football game, but ultimately we've got to take steps forward as a program, play at a high level, deal with the highs and lows of a game, in the game, And, you know, certainly you want to come out healthy. You know, this is our last game before district play, which is what sets you up for the playoffs in November. But play at a high level to be better. Saturday, we want to be a better team than we are right now today, and that's what we're going to work on this week and on Friday.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I have one question for Coach Fred. No, I just have one question for Coach Fred. What's the trick play this year?
I tuned in Friday night. Coach Rick, worry about it all week, all right? How about that?
Thanks. Steve.
Am I here to grab your players? All right, well, I'll grab you first.
So, what's the game plan? Where are you putting us? Top of the roof?
Alrighty, well, how does this team bounce back from what happened to you guys on Friday? What was it that that kind of shut you guys down?
I think they just brought a lot more energy from the beginning. They just came out fast. We didn't really respond. They're definitely a team that can make you make your mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes.
How much was that game, you know, learning experience and maybe eye-opening for this next year?
Well, we're a young team, and that's where the first big game we actually played. Just got the experience from the team. I think everyone at their own point has learned how to lose at some point too. So I'd rather have that now and later in the season. It's definitely
As one of the leaders on this team, just what do you say to those younger and inexperienced guys after that game?
you just gotta keep coming back at it. It's gonna get rough. 2 years ago, my sophomore year, we were on the floor. So there's always, you can always come back a little bit better. You gotta keep pushing forward and take more steps back.
Looking at this week now, just what do you expect out of the Redskins?
There's always to have a good play position. Not to just match that and play hard and play what coaches.
Where did you come from?
I came from a little school called Summit Christian Academy.
Oh, yeah.
It was 1A football.
Oh, yeah.
we don't
Totally
win games.
different
Oh yeah,
environment.
completely different
Yeah.
environment. Definitely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, growing up in Union, you just always hear about wanting to play in the backyard bowl, and so one of my memories is everyone telling me, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then once you get out there, it's crazy, just all the people, and it's a fun atmosphere.
Okay.
I would go along with that, saying like it's just been so real. Finally, being like we're seniors and this is our time to play in the game. But one of my memories would be like I don't know what year it was where this game had a special on the NFL Network because this rivalry is just so big. And I remember seeing Coach Fred walking around with our teammate Josh and his little brother, and it was just kind of so real just seeing all that.
All right. Because of how last season ended against them, does that just fuel your fire even more going into this game?
I mean, I think as a football team, we like to focus on this year. I mean, that's always going to be in the back of our minds. But, you know, we play to win this game at this time. You know what I mean? Like what Coach Fred always says is how do you keep a plane from crashing? You study the ones that do. So I think we're going to study our last game against Jinx and what we did wrong in some other previous games, and we're going to try and keep the plane up. So.
Yeah, it was definitely motivation in the off season and everything, but now we're on the new season and have new motivation and just keep practicing and get better each week.
I mean, kind of like they both said, it's always going to be in the back of our mind, but that's also what this game brings. It's always excitement. There's always last-minute stuff. You just never know what's going to happen in these type of games.
Do you feel, I know it's real cool to be playing at TU, but is it sort of cool too to also be playing in your home stadium, to, you know, at least have this atmosphere, for this game?
Oh yeah, I think it's even cooler that we get to play here. You know, it being the last year that it's going to be up, and it's our senior year. I think that's just kind of like a movie scene. You know, it's going to be really fun, and it's really exciting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun having it here at our home. When I found out, I was ecstatic, just really excited about it.
I mean, I think it'll be really exciting because the last time it was here, I was in the playpen just watching it. And like also it being my first game, like my first backyard bowl actually playing in, and it being here when the stadium's getting ready to get torn down, it's actually really cool.
Well, there have been I mean, it's been a while because obviously you're in the playpen when the last time it's here, but remember the last few times it's been here, it's been a pretty wild atmosphere. It's been pretty
Definitely.
fun. All right. Well, best of luck to you all. All right. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
All right.
If he could hear you over there. For real? I think he can. That's why he has the headphones on.
Did our boys get one?
At Classic Chevrolet, we are 30 years strong, and we proudly support all union athletes and their parents.
30 years of treating you right the first time with excellent customer service,
affordable financing, and an award-winning service department.
Show us your school spirit. Tag us at Classic Chevy Owasso on Facebook, showing off your union pride. And we don't want to just sell you a car. We want to help you buy a car.
Classic Chevrolet in Owasso. Visit us online at ClassicChevrolet.net.
Union fans, stay connected with your favorite team all year long with the official app of the Union Redskins. A free download in the App Store and Google Play, the Union Redskins Athletic app will keep you up to date with all things Union. Schedules, scores, rosters, news, social media, final score notifications, as well as live broadcasts are just a touch away. The official app of the Union Redskins, proudly presented by Classic Chevrolet. Download today for free in the App Store or Google Play.